The movie opens with a couple who desperately want a baby. They are both very happy and excited. A few months later, we see Madeline, the wife, heavily pregnant and just days away from giving birth. We learn that Madeline had fertility problems and took medication to help her conceive. We also learn that her mother-in-law is very controlling and rude to Madeline, wanting to dictate her every move. Madeline dislikes her intensely. Her mother-in-law insists she see a doctor she recommends, but Madeline is unhappy with the doctor because he doesn't take her concerns seriously. Instead of going to the hospital, they decide to hire a midwife. Midwives are trained health professionals who care for pregnant women, but they are not doctors. This infuriates Madeline's mother-in-law, who insists she go to the hospital. Even her husband tries to convince her, but Madeline reassures him that everything will be fine. The midwife tells them not to worry, that she's trained and everything will go smoothly, and the baby will be born easily. They have a pet cat that often hunts mice, which they don't like because they already feed it well. One night, Madeline experiences chest pains after dinner. Her worried husband takes her to the hospital. The doctor who treats her is acquainted with her mother-in-law, whom Madeline and her husband dislike. They refuse to let him treat her, but he insists. Here, it's revealed that Madeline's mother-in-law is so hateful that she might even want Madeline dead. Knowing this, Madeline keeps her distance from her. When the midwife's husband calls her, she comes to the hospital and tells the doctor, "She's my patient. Please, don't treat her." Madeline and her husband go home that night. Unfortunately, they get into an accident. A shocking piece of news is that Madeline's husband dies suddenly. Madeline also loses a lot of blood and is badly injured. She can't believe what has happened. She contacts the midwife for help, who takes her home. But it's clear that she can't treat her properly, and Madeline needs to go to the hospital. However, Madeline refuses. Being a professional, the midwife knows that Madeline's unborn baby also died in the accident, but Madeline is still carrying the dead baby, unaware of its fate. The midwife keeps this a secret from Madeline, knowing how much she wanted this baby and how she just lost her husband. With only a few days left until her due date, Madeline is desperate to see her baby. In the next scene, Madeline gives birth with great difficulty and in intense pain. The midwife cries because the baby is already dead. Madeline holds her baby and begs her to come back. Miraculously, the baby comes back to life. The midwife is stunned, not believing what she's seeing. Madeline smiles at her baby girl and names her Grace. The midwife finds it strange because she knows the baby died days ago. So she suggests to Madeline that she go to the hospital for medical tests for herself and the baby. Madeline, still disagreeing with her mother-in-law, doesn't ask her for help. The story jumps forward a few months, and we see Madeline raising her baby at home. On the other hand, her mother-in-law is shown to be very upset and depressed after losing her son. Her hatred for Madeline has grown even stronger. She's mentally unstable from losing her son. So, she now wanted to raise a child. She wanted to bring her granddaughter to her. Stressed out, she struggles to get her granddaughter. On the other hand, Madeline appears, her mind weakened. Also, she's brushing Grace's hair. Her hair is damaged in the hairbrush because she's lost in her own world. As a result, Grace's head gets injured. She even hurts Grace while bathing her. A strange thing is that flies are always around Grace. Madeline hates this. A fly even goes into Grace's nostrils. The next day, Madeline puts netting around Grace to protect her from the flies, but the flies are still swarming around her, surprised and flying over her. In the coming days, Madeline also seals the windows. Grace's actions are strange. Her mother feeds her, but it's not digestible. She can't digest it. Because of this, Madeline starts worrying about Grace, because she hasn't eaten in many days. Madeline has an assistant through whom she sends messages to the midwife, because she's Madeline's only friend. But the midwife is also unable to help her, because Madeline's assistant isn't delivering her messages. Meanwhile, Madeline's mother-in-law is shown planning to take her granddaughter away from her. Madeline is afraid that if she goes to the hospital, the doctors will kidnap her daughter Grace. Out of fear, she stays locked in her house day and night. After some time, Madeline realizes that Grace is harming her instead of eating food, but she drinks blood. Madeline sees this but ignores it because she loves her daughter very much. She doesn't want to lose her, so she lets her harm her. Later, it's revealed that Grace smells very bad. Madeline bathes her many times, but the smell remains, and the flies won't leave her. In the market, Madeline sees raw meat. She knows Grace drinks blood. She thinks, why not? If Grace eats this raw meat, her hunger will be satisfied with its blood. At home, she squeezes all the blood out of the raw meat. She fills a feeder with it, but Grace behaves mysteriously. She vomits again without digesting the animal's blood. Madeline realizes that Grace can only digest human blood. Without blood, she starts getting sick. Madeline can't tell this secret to anyone, knowing that either they'll take Grace into their custody or they'll end her. Madeline sees her pet cat bringing dead mice to Grace. It seems the cat also knows about Grace, that she wants blood. On the other hand, Madeline's mother-in-law is plotting to snatch her granddaughter away from her. She talks to a doctor about this. She tells him, prove that Madeline is mentally ill. As a result, she can get custody of her granddaughter, which is a right. Madeline is gradually getting weaker. Even her vision is no longer clear. She keeps trembling and staggering. The next day, the same doctor comes to her house, the one her mother-in-law sent to prove Madeline is crazy. Madeline's current condition testifies to her illness. She asks the doctor for help without telling him about her wounds or Grace. While giving Madeline an injection, the doctor hears Grace's terrifying voice when she starts crying. The doctor feels strange hearing a small child's scary voice, and he goes to check on Grace despite Madeline's reluctance. Meanwhile, Madeline hits the doctor on the head, and he falls down. Madeline suddenly realizes that she can give this doctor's blood to Grace. She cuts his body with scissors and fills a feeder with his blood. She starts feeding Grace with this blood. It's shown that Grace is drinking the blood joyfully. Madeline hides the doctor's body in the toilet. Now the situation has worsened, and Madeline is lost in her love for her daughter. On the other hand, her mother is preparing things for her granddaughter. They had also decorated the baby's room and arranged a feeder for her. They were confident that the doctor they sent would successfully complete the task, allowing her to reunite with her granddaughter. When the doctor doesn't return for a long time, she goes to Madeline's house herself. At the same time, Madeline is busy disposing of the doctor's body. When she arrives, her mother-in-law grabs a hammer and takes Grace away. Returning, Madeline doesn't find Grace at home. She sees her mother-in-law on the stairs, taking Grace away. Madeline pleads with her, "Bring my daughter back to me," but she doesn't agree. She hits Madeline on the head with the hammer. As a result, Madeline falls down, but she's alive. Then Madeline comes to her and cuts her throat, and she smashes her own head with the same hammer. Meanwhile, the midwife comes there because she was worried about Madeline. She sees everything clearly. The movie ends with the midwife going somewhere with Madeline and her pet cat. Madeline has become weak, while Grace is growing teeth. She has started eating meat along with sucking blood. Grace's blood is drawn with the help of the midwife. Finally, it's revealed that Grace has started eating Madeline's flesh. Now it was completely certain that she would eat others to satisfy her hunger. The movie ends here.